Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I just about fell asleep sitting here earlier, and I had to go and make myself a cup of coffee because last night I went to a Christmas party and I'm just a little worn out. Ripple tweeted this out a little bit ago. Let's see. Yeah, it was very shortly ago. Senior VP Customer Success, Marcus Treacher, opens up on how Ripple maintains transparency as a private company. And then when you go and look at this article, this is the quote that I like that he said. He says, "We're a very young network. It's growing very quickly. When you get to a point when you've got a massive network, then you might want to say things about the flow or the volume, etc. Right now, we're still young. We're still growing. So we talk about the growth rate, we talk about coverage, and we talk about the time we take to deliver end to end. That's what we put out. And that's enough to give a comfortable indication to where we're heading and the impact that we're having." This Treacher. And also in this article, they go and they look at, he talks about Swift and different things, but I just thought that was the most interesting quote from the article. This is from CZ Binance. CZ Binance says mining is highly encouraged in China now. They hope to control Bitcoin by having all the miners in the country. It is under their control. And then he's retweeting this, or he's tweeting out this from this guy. Strange to see that despite all the controls from China, more than half of the Bitcoin mining comes from there. More so is predominantly hydroelectric power, which is a good thing. Now, the thing that I remember from this is it seems like it was not more than a week or so ago that China was floating out there that they were going to crack down on the mining. And then at the same time, we heard that there was a big mining outfit that was going to open in Texas. I believe, was it Bitmain? Was that the company that was going to do it? But the bottom line is, I think that the Bitcoin maxis and the people that are so pro Bitcoin are wanting to create a perception now that the United States is a lot more involved in mining than what it has been in the past. And I think that if I were them, I'd probably do the same thing. But apparently China is involved in it. Now, this was an interesting exchange. This guy, Michael Del Castillo, after much help from the XRP community, it appears 100 billion XRP were created between the winter equinox of 2012. In other words, he's trying to figure out exactly when the XRP birthday is, I think. And so David Schwartz comes in and has a whole string of answers. And I think this happened in the last, let me see, make sure this tweet, this is recent, this just happened. He said, David Schwartz says, there have been some questions floating around about the origins of the XRP ledger and when XRP was created. Let me help clear those up. I worked with Arthur Brito and Jed McCaleb starting in late 2011. We co-created the XRP ledger. Here is my code commit from November 2011. And then he's got a GitHub here. And he said, here's Arthur's code that created the 100 billion XRP, then called XNS on June 2nd, 2012, the birth date of XRP. So this is interesting. I did not know that was the actual birth date. And then he says by June 2012, and da da da. But he goes into all of this. But and what I would ask, what I find interesting as well, he mentions himself, Arthur Brito, and Jed McCaleb. But I personally heard Roger Ver when I was in Singapore say that he was there early in the early days of Ripple as well. And I would love to hear David Schwartz commentary on where did Roger Ver fit into the situation, because I know he did, because he said it. And then this is from Texas XRP. Wow, front page of the Singapore newspaper, positive article in the middle of it states, Bank of China, I guess his country's central bank, will start end of this year using crypto in major cities. And this is the Business Times upstart crypto shows signs of growing. It is coming, folks. You can feel it now. I mean, the last couple of days, you can just feel it in the news. X-Men XRP at XRP 33, the official superhero of the digital asset investor channel. I love reading titles like that. Revisiting the CME Group's investment in Ripple Labs Inc. The only reason I wanted to bring this up is because there's some of you out there that probably didn't know that the CME Group is an investor in Ripple. If you go down here, it says the global Ripple Labs raised $28 million from the CME Group, Seagate, and others. Global market company had invested in Ripple as far back as 2015. And down here it says the executive director of CME Group, Rupee Morales, said the company joined the funding round to signify its dedication in transforming the industry via innovation and technology. Then, in November of 2016, they hired Miguel Valles. And Miguel Valles, remember, he was an executive officer at the CME Group. He joined Ripple Labs to be the head of XRP markets. At CME, he was global head of precious metals and metal options and served at Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, and Mitsu before joining CME Group. So for those of you that didn't know all of that, it's a good thing to know. Okay. Vin tweeted this out this morning. I stumbled upon a great idea by Crypto Cowboy. This is Craig DeWitt of Ripple and Alloy Networks, and I couldn't resist a web monetization coil-enabled music player donating to artists straight from the MP3 ID3 tag. Proof of concept. Now, these guys are developers, and all of this is Greek to me, but I just wanted to get across the main thing of what his idea here is. Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29 sent me a few things as usual. Indian rupee is worth less every few years. Now, this Shalini is showing how the Indian rupee has gone down in value over the last few years. But while it has lost 57% of its value in just the last 10 years, Bitcoin did the opposite. And this is one of the handful of really good things about Bitcoin and many other digital assets like XRP, is the finite amount. This is what our central banks and governments have refused to do for, tens of years, if not 100 years, and that is to put out a currency and not print any more of it. There you go. And then CZ Binance adding access to 160 more fiat currencies in one integration, slowly but surely. Now that, my friends, is what you call added liquidity. And so anytime you hear about those type things, we've got to show you. European Central Bank, watch the ECB press conference live. President Christine Lagarde explains today's monetary policy decisions. This is not live now, but you can go and you can see it. Go at ECB if you want to watch the whole thing. I've got another clip from it that I'm going to show you here in a minute. And then we have this from Ripple as well. Are you a technology in search of a problem, or a problem in search of a technology? CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and then this is Natalie. I don't even know how to say her last name, but she runs Propy Inc., which is a company that's trying to improve the real estate closing process using blockchain. And she's I guess she's a contributor at contributor at Forbes as well. And she wrote this article in it, and she talks about Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and some other companies. But the gist of what is being said here by Brad Garlinghouse is that if you're solving a problem and you're using blockchain, then you have a use case, then it has a future. If you are just making up a problem and saying, hey, I'll just say it's blockchain and don't really solve a problem, then it'll go to zero, which is what he said in the past. Yonathan D at XRP_YD7. This is the liquidity index bot. This is for Bitso XRP Mexican peso 28-day moving trend. Day progress 67% today so far, 7.9 million. All-time high 7.8 million. So look at that. I mean, that kind of tells a story. And then Bank XRP. The CEO of MoneyGram speaks at Investor Day along with CEO Brad Garlinghouse. And this was from, this is today, a little bit ago. Thank you to Ripple. This is Alex Holmes, the CEO of MoneyGram. Thank you to Ripple for inviting me to speak at Investor Day earlier this week in New York. Brad Garlinghouse and I had great conversation about our partnership, innovation, and what this means for the future of money transfer. You better believe it means a lot for the future of money transfer. And then this is Brian Melancholy XRP, and this is the one I really wanted to show you. This is from Digital Assets Daily. It's a clip from Christine Lagarde, I'm assuming from the thing today. I was hoping yesterday morning that the taxonomy was a done deal. Now, I'm assuming that she's referring to the taxonomy, the Token Taxonomy Act over here in the U.S., but I don't know if that's what she was talking about. I'm assuming that. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that I think that she's talking about the Token Taxonomy Act, and maybe I can be corrected there if I'm wrong. Thank you for listening.